In a playoff-like atmosphere for a huge battle between the Oakland Raiders and Seattle Seahawks. They were thought to be among the very best. They were left for dead with all the rest. But a reversal of fortune has taken place, and the Raiders and Seahawks now find themselves closer than ever before. The emotional swings of a 16-game season are in full effect. Tonight, both teams will be put to the test. The season is now a 2-game term with no room left to falter. It's the Raiders and Seahawks with the playoffs at stake on Sunday Night NFL. Good evening, everybody. I'm Mike Patrick, along with Joe Theismann and Mark Malone. Welcome to the NFL on ESPN. The AFC wildcard picture is very clear for the Oakland Raiders. If they win tonight, they're in the playoffs. Anything less leaves it to chance. The Seattle Seahawks do not control their own destiny, and they must win tonight to keep their playoff hopes alive. Tonight, backup quarterback John Freeze starts in place of the injured but available Rick Meyer. Last week, Freeze led Seattle to the greatest comeback in franchise history, wiping out a 20-point deficit at Denver with a pair of fourth-quarter touchdown passes. And, Joe, it's the type of performance the Seahawks hope will carry over to tonight's game.
And, Michael, the Oakland Raiders get to trot out their #1 quarterback for the first time in a month. And believe me, it is not a moment too soon. With Jeff Hostetler injured, Oakland has dropped 4 straight games. Tonight he has one job and one job only: revive a Raider offense that has scored a total of 2 touchdowns, Mark, in the last 12 quarters.
And Joe, tonight his defensive mates will have a tough task in stopping the #1 rushing offense in the NFL. So into our spotlight steps Pro Bowl defensive tackle Chester McLaughlin. I'll be back with video reports throughout the night to chart his performance. Mike?
All right, thanks, Mark. And a pair of first-year coaches looking to brand their tenure with a playoff appearance. Back in October, Mike White got the best of Denix Erickson in a 34-14 Raider win. The Seahawks have won the toss, and they will receive. Jaeger set to kick it off. Steve Broussard, the middle deep man. From the 4. Has the lane. Broussard across midfield. Seattle's offense will start at the 50 with John Freeze at quarterback, starting for the coach who recruited him out of high school to play at Idaho. Pro Bowler Chris Warren is second in the AFC in rushing and is over 1,000 yards for the 4th straight season. Kevin Mawai, the second-year right guard, may be the best athlete on the line, and he's been on the field for every snap this year. Warren is the single setback. They'll go with 3 wide receivers. Warren, as a flag is down. Look like the Raiders jump early, and they've had a habit of that throughout their history. They're very aggressive, trying to make something happen.
And it's a team that a lot of people like to use hard counts on. It's a way to slow them down early. Go with the long count and make them jump, make them think about it the rest of the day.
Jerry Markbright, our referee tonight.
Offside, number 91, defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
For the Raiders defensively, Pat Swilling is poised to become the 12th NFL player to record 100 sacks. He has 13 this year. At linebacker, Mike Jones is making the most of his first year as a starter. He has 89 tackles, #1 on the club. And with 5 interceptions, Terry McDaniel is #2 in the AFC and has pushed his career total to 29. McLaughlin right there at the line of scrimmage. All 320 pounds plus.
Chester McLaughlin. Besides his size, Mike, at 320, if he gets going like on a hard inside like he does here, nobody can block him because he has a step in the direction the ball carrier's going. I don't care who you are. You're not going to be able to block him. Jim Atkins didn't have a chance of cutting him off. 320 like a cat.
Going to the Pro Bowl, and deservedly so. Warren again. First down and more. Chris Warren to a 33. The safeties, Dan Land and Eddie Anderson, had to make the tackle. And this is the bread and butter of the Seattle Seahawks.
That is not what you want. You don't want your safeties making plays. You want Jerry Ball up front. Jim Sweeney and Jeff Blackshear, 69, come in and finish Jerry off. Now, Ball is not healthy. He's hurting. He's got a bad leg, and I think it's going to bother him. He just wants to play in a phone booth tonight. That time the phone booth got knocked over.
Can't really push off and run. Strong is the I-back and frees to throw for the first time. McLaughlin right on top of him, but the pass is complete to the sensational rookie, Joey Galloway.
Mike, I believe the absolute best pass protection you can get in football is play-action pass blocking. What it does is it causes the guys up front to hesitate just for a second. Watch the lineman. See, just for a second, Ball has to hesitate. Now, McLaughlin is a bull. He's going to get there, but that little play action bought him time, and Joey Galloway is just sensational. It's the only way you can describe him.
He has broken Steve Largen's rookie record here in Seattle. Draw play, one. Room to run through an arm tackle. The Seattle Seahawks promised that the enthusiasm from last week would carry over to tonight.
And this is we're going to take a look at it, Mike, from our goalpost cam. It's coming right up the middle. The heart and soul of the Raider defense is Chester McLaughlin and Jerry Ball in the middle. They're not in the picture. And the safeties are coming in to try and tackle Chris Warren, who is truly an all-pro.
Boy, about 3 arm tackles on that play, and Chris Warren is 225 pounds, and he runs harder than that way.
Won't get it done.
7-0 Seahawks. Chris Warren with his 13th rushing touchdown of the season. The Seahawks to an early lead.
ESPN Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by Sega, makers of Genesis, Color Game Gear, Sega CD, and the fastest, coolest video games ever. By Raiders Jeans and Casual Clothes, cut to make real people look real good. And by McDonald's, official break of the NFL.
Seahawks took 2 minutes and 40 seconds on their opening possession to score a touchdown against the Raiders defense. Todd Peterson to kick to Napoleon Kaufman and the Rocket. Ismail out over the 30 to about the 33 and a late flag. The Rocket averaging 22-2 a return this year.
It's very critical for the Raiders, Mike. You know, they've had things not go their way over the last month. The last thing they need to do is have problems early in this game. Their confidence right now is very fragile. Mike White talked about it with us last night. You know, they really have to bear down and keep their composure.
Number 50, receiving team, 10-yard penalty.
Go back to the last touchdown, Joe. What did you see on that play?
What I saw was a great job by Brian Blades, number 89. You're going to see him the top left of your screen in the slot. Right here. Watch him come in and make the block. He's going to get Dan Land, number 25. He's out in front of Chris Warren. Now, don't focus on Warren, but look at that. Warren runs into Blades. Dan Land never gets a hand on Chris Warren. That's a little thing receivers can do to help teams win.
Play action by Hostetler. Throws to Brown, incomplete. Back to lead the Raider offense, Jeff Hostetler. How crucial is he? Missed 3.5 games. The team was winless during that span. Tim Brown will be going to his 5th Pro Bowl with 78 catches and 1,113 yards. He's 2nd in the AFC in both departments. And Steve Wisniewski has been selected for the Pro Bowl, too. That's his 6th in a row. He is the enforcer on the offensive line. Hostetler back for the first time in a month. Harvey Williams on the sweep. Good block from Fenner. And Harvey Williams, who had been held to 33 yards rushing in the last 2 games combined, picks up nearly 10 there.
Weekday mornings, get in the know.
Seattle's defense has gone to a more aggressive scheme this year, and Cortez Kennedy has benefited. He leads the linemen in tackles and the team in sacks with 6.5. Terry Wooden is one of the league's best-kept secrets. He leads the team in tackles. He's great in coverage. And Robert Blackman is tops on the club with 5 interceptions. His fumble causing sack last week turned the game and maybe the season around for the Seattle Seahawks. 3rd and a yard. And the Raiders have to spend a timeout because the play clock is running down. So we've got a timeout on the field, 7-0 Seahawks. With Jeff Hostetler out the last month, the Raiders changed their offense trying to protect the other guys who were playing quarterback. Tonight, they want to get back to what they had been doing very well.
And what they were doing, Michael, is they were spreading the ball around. The first part of the season, 9 receivers caught balls. Then all of a sudden they said, we have to go to a running game. We have to protect Vince Evans. We have to protect Billy Joe. If we don't, we could get him killed. Well, they got out of the things that they did best. And now what they want to do is get back, balance the attack. Run the ball like we saw with Harvey Williams there, and then throw the short passes and spread it around. And the other thing is, too, is with Haas back there, Jim Fossil, the offensive coordinator, can pick and choose from a lot more plays than he could before.
3rd and a yard. Play action by Hostetler. Dumps it up, has the first down, got it to Andrew Glover, and his tight end goes out of bounds. Terry Wooden on the coverage. There's a guy who had caught 23 passes coming in.
You know, I like that. I like to go play action the first time either you want to try a deep pass or the first time you want maybe to get a first down. What now the Seahawks have to be aware of is that any 3rd and short they could run, and it'll make it a little easier to pick it up running the ball.
For the entire rest of the game. Fenner, the former Seahawk, tries to cut back, but a swarming Seattle defense puts him down at the 32, led by Dean Wells, the middle linebacker. After they lost Tyrone Stowe, the free agent they got from the Redskins, Wells had to take over in the middle. He was a defensive lineman in college, even at only 244 pounds.
See, 244, I think, is a good weight for a middle linebacker. You can absorb the punishment. You can hold your own against the big guards and stabilize the middle.
3 wide receivers and Fenner. Hostetler being chased. Does a nice job of getting away and throwing it away. And now there's a flag down. Preliminary signal is a hold.
Michael Sinclair, the left defensive end, is really a pass rush specialist. He's only about 270, and he's really going to give fits, I think, to Robert Jenkins, number 64 on the right side.
Holding, number 64, offense. 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Robert Jenkins, number 64, filling in for Greg Skrepanek, who has the flu. Now, there he is. He locks up. You see the hand outside, and then when he tries to get away, he won't let him go. I tell you, when you're singled like that and you're on the edge, there's nowhere to hide. The officials are looking right at you.
Fortunately for the Raiders, Jenkins had been working out in right tackle, was going to alternate with Skrepanek as they got Gerald Perry back as their starting left tackle for the first time since the season opener. Hostetler to Williams on 2nd and 19. He dives near the 30-yard line. Terry Wooden, again, along with Winston Moss, the former emotional leader of the Raiders defensive unit.
I really think that Winston Moss leaving the the Oakland Raiders, they're still practicing in Los Angeles. He left the LA Raiders, and he's not with the Oakland Raiders. But I think
You got it covered.
I do. I think it hurt him emotionally. I think it hurts the heart and soul of their defense to a degree.
3rd and 12. Hostetler steps up, throws long. Blackman, the closest man to it. And Hostetler took a rip again. And it was Antonio Edwards, the right defensive end, applying the pressure.
But we've seen more and more big men up the middle making things happen. When you get the middle collapse, watch Cortez Kennedy, number 96. He just pushes Perry back and pushes the middle back right in the face of Hostetler, allowing Edwards to come in and make the hit.
Joey Galloway, who is 8th in the conference, waits for the punt of Jeff Gossett, who is not having a Gossett-like year, 11th in the AFC. Galloway looked for a block, got it, broke it. Speed kills, and this kid has it. 17-yard return after a punt of 47. This franchise has not been to the playoffs since 1988, so you can excuse them for being a little pumped up tonight. However, none of those outfits is as bad looking as the hat Barry Switzer was wearing today.
You mean the duck hunting hat?
Ducks from 3 states would come over for that one. And you may get one. The Seahawks need desperately to win this game. Warren. And Chris Warren, the reason this is the #1 rushing offense in the NFL, averaging better than 145 yards a game on the ground. Last year, they were #1 in the AFC. The year before that, #2 in the AFC. So they have just gotten better, as has Chris Warren.
And it helps out Dennis Erickson so much, because if you're able to run the football, you can control the clock and you can dictate when you want to throw to defenses.
Already over 1,200 yards. 2nd and 6. Freeze with the quick out. Galloway makes the catch right at the marker.
The thing you're going to notice about John Freeze, which is different than Rick Meyer, is Meyer holds the ball a little bit. He's still working on his timing. John Freeze will not hold the football. He will set, he will throw, and he will fire. There's Rick Meyer, who could play tonight. His shoulder is sore, but if he has to, he could go.
It's his left shoulder that's injured, but as we've seen with several quarterbacks this year, you hurt your left shoulder, it makes it very difficult to throw with your other.
You don't throw it that way.
First down, Seahawks. Play action by Freeze. Under pressure, throws. Galloway. Joey Galloway dragged down at the 20-yard line. Caught from behind by Terry McDaniel, but it's a gain of 30.
Boy, is he special. The play action helps this out. It gets the underneath coverage up around the line. Terry McDaniel peeking back a little, but he's got to respect his speed. They both stop about the same time, but now Joey will accelerate away from him. Looking for a place to run, and Terry McDaniel does a terrific job of staying with him. Big game.
You brought it up at a meeting last night. One of the things that really helped him was he got in camp immediately and got the benefits of training camp. Back to the ground game as Freeze play action. He throws over the middle. There is a flag down on this play, however.
That could be offsides on Jerry Ball. You'll see him move just a little bit inside. The big guy, number 93, a little bit anxious. Or number 91, Chester McLaughlin, excuse me.
And, Joe, this is a talent-laden defense that is 5th in the AFC, but now they're
offside, number 91, defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Now they're giving up more than 300 yards a game, and with all the individual talent they seem to have, they're not making the plays when they need it.
I think you really hit the nail on the head, Mike. Individual talent. Individual talent does not win football games. I mean, the Miami Dolphins are a classic example of that. You have to play well as a cohesive unit. That's what they have not done.
Galloway and Blades, the wideouts. Warren. Bounces off the tackle. Touchdown. Again, it's a great run by Chris Warren, but it's a lousy job of tackling.
You're absolutely right. You usually block to about 4 yards for somebody. Now, blocking is about 4 yards of the line, and they do it right there. There's 4 yards. There's the pile. But where is there a Raider? There's a missed tackle by Swilling. He's the only one nearby. But what a terrific job. They just fire out. Look at the center of that line. They create piles. I mean, the only guy that Chris Warren runs into is one of his offensive linemen.
And the Seahawks trying to make a statement early at home. They're up 14-0.
Blows up plays. He's worked out hard inside here. Splits the double team, works down the line of scrimmage, makes the play, and then how about this? Puts a double team again and puts the hit on the quarterback. But here's where he gets in trouble when he works outside. When he works outside, he leaves a big hole inside for the draw play. That's the first touchdown. Mike?
All right, thank you, Mark. And that guy is going to be a great player for a long, long time. He's got a wonderful attitude and just a world of talent.
Got to get some help from his friends, though, Mike. He can't do it alone.
Peterson kicking to the Rocket and the rookie. And it's the Rocket from the 8. Near the 34-yard line. Tony Covington made the stop. Let's go back to Mark Malone.
Thanks, Mike. Here are the numbers as we watch Chester McLaughlin look at the pictures. They've double-teamed him 4 of 7 times. You can imagine he attracts a lot of attention. 1 quarterback hit. They rushed at him 1 time for 15 yards. That's when he got into pass rush mode for the first touchdown. He needs to continue to create penetration on the inside gaps. Mike?
All right, Mark, down there studying the pictures from upstairs that tell them what the Seattle Seahawks offense is trying to do. Right now, they're trying to blow them right off the field and back to Oakland. Harvey Williams. Nice cut to get outside, and Wells pushes him out of bounds. About a 10-yard gain.
That's very critical for Oakland's offense, Mike. They have to be patient and run the football. That's the one thing Jim Fossil, their offensive coordinator, didn't do. He couldn't stay with it long enough because he had to protect the quarterbacks and make things happen. With Jeff Hostetler there, they can be patient and try and run the football. They have to run the football tonight.
Williams 5th in the conference coming in with 960 yards. Would be the first 1,000-yard rusher since Marcus Allen. Williams hit in the backfield and dropped Cortez Kennedy with the penetration and the tackle around the ankles.
Tez is so quick. Gerald Perry, number 71, is going to try and cut him off. But he can't get to him. All he can get is his right leg, and he's got such great quickness inside. Here's a guy, he plays tackle. He doesn't move around. He gets people pounding on him all the time and shows up and makes plays every game.
2nd and 8. Play action by Hostetler. Steps up and delivers. Got it to James Jett inside the 40. Stopped by Robert Blackman, the strong safety.
See, that's where I think speed can help you. Speed, you have to be afraid of it. So what'll happen is he'll push the defensive back off and then create a cushion to make the play. Watch the right side of the screen. Little fake draw, good throwing lane. Now look at the room Jett creates. See the speed? The respect over there by Carlton Gray, number 26.
He took these wide receivers and made a 4x100 relay team out of them. They still finished in the top 5 in the Olympics. Hostetler held it as long as he could and then got it to Andrew Glover. Winston Moss with another tackle.
Winston Moss, the tackler.
This is the trait that Hostetler saw in this offense to spread it around. And he said if things hadn't changed, he might not be back this year. He nearly got killed last season.
Yeah, and, you know, early in the year, he hasn't been really hit that much. I mean, he was only sacked 21 times before he went out.
Napoleon Kaufman, the rookie from Washington, down to the 25-yard line. Eugene Robinson had to make the tackle.
Talking to Mike White last night, and Jim Fossil earlier today. Both of them agree 100%. They've got to get Napoleon Kaufman in the game. Such incredible explosion once he gets the ball.
Guy's averaging 4.9 yards a carry, and not big by today's standards, but he bench presses over 400 pounds.
And he says he's not small, he's just short.
Vertically challenged. Toss to Kaufman. Chased out of bounds at the 24.
What a heartbreaker earlier today for the Indianapolis Colts against the Chargers. Chargers still alive, and Colts are too. They just need to win this next one.
Colts still alive too, but hats off to Bobby Ross to keep that team together and bring them back. 2nd and 8. Hostetler down the middle. Contact before the ball got there. And no flag.
Well, Carlton Gray is going up to make a play on the ball. That's why they don't throw the flag.
Gray against the Rocket.
See, Rocket's a small guy. If you want to throw the ball to him, you want to throw it down low. See, number 55, Winston Moss, come right up the middle, and that causes Jeff to throw the ball a little bit higher than he wants. But Winston does a good, hits him in the, right there in the chest. Boy, you don't want Haas taking hits like that, though. He takes so many in the pocket.
Got a lot of guts. He'll just stand there and wait till the last second.
He's got to stop that, or he's not going to play much longer.
3rd and 8. You'd think he'd be smarter than that. He was offered a Rhodes Scholarship at West Virginia. Another blitz. Great protection over the middle. Incomplete. Knocked away by Selwyn Jones. Tremendous defensive play. That's great coverage in the secondary. When you come with that many guys, they pick it up. You've got to be man-to-man.
Offensive line did their job. This is one of those things you've got to give credit to the defensive back. Look at this line. They set perfect. They're tough in the middle. They give Haas the pocket. He makes the throw, and that's just a great effort. He just throws a little bit behind Darryl Hobbs, and incomplete.
Jager for the field goal from 42.
It's good.
And with 2:57 to go first quarter, the Raiders finally get on the board. They trail 14-3.
Big drive for the Raiders, Mike. I think they needed that emotionally and psychologically. They couldn't turn the ball back over to Seattle without having something good happen on the drive. Okay, defense, settle down, stop them. We're in this game. That's what you're thinking on the sideline.
The Swami getting a little free advertising.
He's worshipped everywhere.
This isn't bad. You can do it indoors.
I like the Swami hats they have. Now, if you saw a Swami like that, like in Buffalo, oh, now there's some guys.
That's dedication.
And, you know, if the Raiders can win and get in the playoffs, they're going to have to go to places like Pittsburgh and Buffalo probably. So they need this guy not to take the hits like he took on that last series.
I'll tell you, the team that would not mind the trip to the playoffs, whether it was Buffalo or not, would be Seattle. They haven't been since 1988. And these guys were so pumped last week with that incredible comeback win against Denver. Broussard from the 6. Had a big return last time. Same spot, same thing. James Trapp made the tackle. The ball came out. Raiders signaling they have it, but the officials haven't said yet.
No, it's not Raider ball. It's Seahawks ball. The ball was on the ground, got kicked out of bounds, hit a Seahawk out of bounds, and came back in. It'll be Seahawks ball.
A 55-yard kickoff return.
That time they had some help.
Forward and out of bounds. Return to the spot of the fumble. First down, Seattle.
Boy, Dave Arnold, the special teams coach, is excited. But watch this. Guys are going to make blocks, and then they're peeling off and making other blocks. Look at the convoy he's got. Trapp does a nice job of not quitting. Now the ball gets kicked out of bounds and then bounces back in. It's fumbled forward. Actually, it should be down at the spot. But everything else after that is moot.
Great field position for Seattle. They start at the Raider 39. And here comes another dose of Chris Warren. McLaughlin out there trying to strip the ball from Warren. And Albert Lewis came up from the corner to make the tackle.
They had 6 rushes, 48 yards, Mike, but 23 after the first hit. Now, that also counts when he runs into his own guy, like we saw in the last touchdown.
That's half of what he had. Another quick set to Galloway. Galloway down to the 25, neck tackled by Terry McDaniel. And he is not working against just some slug out there. Terry McDaniel is a great corner and a Pro Bowler.
He's going to the Pro Bowl, and Joey Galloway will be there soon. Terry takes it inside, but Joey does a good job of freezing him and using his hands. He's not a rookie. He must have stayed in college a lot longer than people think. He's too mature in his receiving skills to just be a rookie.
The poise of a veteran. Saw his receiver perfectly covered, didn't want to take a chance and threw it away. Intended for Tracy Johnson in the flat, but Albert Lewis was right there.
John Freeze realizes where he is on the field. He's on the 26, 25, 26-yard line. He's not going to take a sack here, Mike. He's just not going to do it. He hasn't taken them all year. He's only been sacked once. Look at that compared to Rick Myers. 69 pass attempts, 1 sack. Rick, 384, 40.
McKnight, number 82, checks in as an extra wide receiver on 2nd and 10. And they go with the draw to Warren. Shakes the tackle, dives forward near the 20-yard line.
What they're doing, the Seahawks have done, is they're spreading the formations out and going with Chris Warren as a single back. When you spread out wide receivers like that, you force the linebackers to loosen up. So therefore, the front line, the offensive line, only has to try and control the defensive line to create running room.
Steve Broussard will check in for Warren on 3rd and 5. Broussard number 41. Deeper drop this time for Freeze and throws over the middle. Intended for Broussard, but Swilling was applying the pressure.
4th down and 5 yards to go.
So they'll go for the field goal from Todd Peterson.
That was a good series by the Oakland defense. Remember, the ball was returned to within about 12 yards of where they are.
Here's a kid before winning the job in Seattle, had 13 tryouts in 28 months. I mean, he is banged around all over the NFL. And what he has done this year, 19 out of 24. This one will be from 39 after they lost John Casey. And it's true. So Seattle answers the Raiders field goal with one of their own. And the lead is extended back to 14 points.
The Seahawks are in territory they're not used to. They're playing late into the season. They're leading the Raiders and have played very well. What scares you a little bit is how this football team is going to handle this prosperity. I mean, are they going to start to say, well, when's it going to fall apart, or are they just going to keep on going forward? It's something to watch as this game goes.
The other thing they're not used to, they have a sellout crowd. This is the first time this year a game has been on local television. They've had to black out all the rest. Dennis Erickson, of course, the prodigal son, returning to the great Northwest. Born in Everett, Washington, just a few miles up the road. And they love him here.
Welcome back to the Dome.
17-3 Seahawks. Kaufman and Ismail are deep. They've been kicking away from Kaufman, who's 2nd in the NFL in kick return. The Rockets fumbled the football. It looked like the Raiders got it back. And they did at the 25.
Robert Blackman, number 25, just sticks the Rocket
Tony Brown, a backup corner, was the one who got the hit.
He's trying to high step away, and there goes the hit by Tony Brown. 29.
Put the helmet right on the ball. Back to the ground game with Harvey Williams. Got about 3. Williams came from Kansas City, said he'd always been a Raider fan and liked that silver and black attitude. And he has played very well for them. And the Raiders are going to let time expire here in the first period, and it has been a wonderful opening 15 minutes for the Seattle Seahawks, trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. They lead it 17-3.
Fourth quarter, Carolina trailing Atlanta 17-14 on their own 11, but Kerry Collins to Willie Green, the color of money. He could go all the way, 89 yards. Carolina wins at 21-17. Mike?
All right, Chris, Dom Capers, Coach of the Year. Sensational job.
I'll tell you, Ray Rhodes done a terrific job in Philly,
Yes,
but
he
Dom
has.
Capers would get my vote right now.
2nd and 7. Williams hurdles his way out to the 34.
Tackled by Corey Harris.
Raiders get a boost with Gerald Perry returning this week. The 8-year veteran out of Southern, starting left tackle, broke his arm in the opener. He has been out ever since, and he's a man who really makes it work on that left side. They've tried to replace him with 3 different players. Robert Jenkins is one of them, who's now starting for Skrepenak. There's Rich Stevens. He had been the starter, and they are delighted to have Perry back. 3 wide receivers set on 3rd and 2. Hostetler with plenty of time, throws to Brown. He's got it for the first down. Wells was there. Robinson was there. There's a flag down back by Hostetler. That's why he had so much time.
You know, 3rd and 2 like that, Mike, I don't... You run 2 big running plays. I think people are thinking, why don't you run it again? And I'm thinking the same thing.
Illegal hands to the face. Number 67, offense. 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's Dan Turk, the center.
Working on Cortez Kennedy, number 96, right in the middle. Here comes the Tez, and there it is. Got his hand in his face mask and keeps it there forever. And officials can't miss that.
So now it's 3rd and 12, and the ever penalty-plagued Raiders have put themselves in a hole again.
Of course, hard to fault the call. They got the completion, just had the penalty hurdle.
Brown is the motion man. Blitz. And Hostetler throws short. Tried to get it to Kerry Cash, but he was blanketed by Blackman.
Hey, you know how I feel, Mike. 3rd down and 12, 3rd down and 15. Throw the kitchen sink at the quarterback. Make him try and get rid of the ball quick. I'll guarantee you, if you do it 10 times, he might complete it once.
You advocated that theory a long time before anybody was doing it, and I think it was because when people did that to you, you saw how effective it was.
I know I have to throw to hot receivers, and I know they are only going to gain about 6 or 7 yards.
Galloway, who has an 89-yard punt return for a touchdown this year, the longest in team history. This is a very short kick. And takes a bounce back the other way down at the 45. Only a 31-yard punt from Jeff Gossett.
ESPN Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by Isuzu, makers of incredible 4-wheel drives. By Logo Athletic, get real with authentic team apparel. And by Transamerica, the people in the pyramid are working for you.
Seattle with excellent field position after a poor punt. They start at their own 45-yard line.
Oakland started on their own 25 tonight. Seattle's average starting right around midfield, their own 49.
Number 86, Rob Thomas, is in as a wide receiver to the near side. Freeze, nice play action. Crumpler. First down into Raider territory. Eddie Anderson had to make the tackle.
All that comes from having a running game. When you can run the football in this league, you can really create problems for a defense. Simple play action pass. Crumpler number 87 at the line, blocks down on, and then slides out. That was Anthony Smith. You forced Eddie Anderson to come out and make the play, the strong safety.
Tell you what, John Freeze may be tough to get out of there. 5 out of 7, 76 yards. He's been extremely efficient. Play action. Unload. Galloway, touchdown! Now there's a guy you might want to cover who runs a 4.240.
Yeah, but you know what? I remember I talked about this defense playing like individuals, not as a team. Terry McDaniel, the left corner, thinks he has help. There's a miscommunication by the defense. See number 36 up top? He stops. He just stops. Joey Galloway, there isn't a Raider within 15 yards of him. The cone is closer than any Raider.
And I'll bet that McDaniel was right. He expected a safety to come over, and nobody came. Peterson with the point after. A 43-yard bomb for a touchdown. It's 21-24-3. The Raiders must be stunned. They are being hammered 24-3 second quarter here in the Kingdom.
There's two guys. There's Eddie Anderson right there. That's Terry McDaniel. He's going to go back. He bites up, and Joey Galloway just runs down the field. Terry McDaniel's got to believe he's got help. There's no other way to explain it.
And Joey Galloway says, thank you very much. Yeah, so does John Freeze.
That's the easiest touchdown Joey Galloway will ever get.
Going back to last week against Denver, Seattle's offense has scored on 7 straight possessions, and Rick Meyer has been out-injured. John Freeze is the guy who has been doing the job. Raiders secondary trying to get their signal straight.
Albert Lewis, number 29, Eddie Anderson, Terry McDaniel, got the 2 corners and the safety all talking about what happened. Now, if there's anything positive, it's a good sign that they're talking, not screaming at one another. Joey Galloway is just, 5 catches, 108 yards. We only have 12 minutes to go in the second quarter.
He apparently likes playing against the Raiders.
I love visiting with him. Rick Meyer watching it all happen, saying, I wish I was a part of it.
The Raiders have to do something to stop the bleeding. Kaufman. And Joe Nash, the 14-year man, chases him down from behind. When Joe Nash was a rookie, one of the assistant coaches told him, if you get too settled and you buy a house, you get fired. You know what? He's never bought a house. He's been here 14 years.
They've tried so many different people to bring in and take his job, and all he does is just stay here.
Here's a guy who follows advice to excess. 2nd and 7. Kaufman, nice hold. First out across the 35. He's got the first down. Michael Sinclair made the tackle.
I like the fact that the Oakland Raiders are basically unaffected by what's going on. Offensively, they're going to run their game plan. They're going to do what they have to do, and they're making plays. Watch the offensive line pick up the blitz inside. Wisniewski does a nice job on Winston Moss and creates the hole.
Play action by Hosta. Gun this one, but it's incomplete. What a play by Robert Blackman. It was his sack of John Elway that turned the Denver game around a week ago.
You know something, Mike? It's second down now. You've got all that speed. You got to make Coach McMacken think about the fact that there's deep stuff out there. There's the defensive backs of the Seahawks are starting to squat on these receivers. Send them up the field.
Hostetler only 4 of 10 for 35 yards. Kaufman support by Carlton Gray, who just shot up from the corner. And, Joe, that begs the question, how do you ignore Seattle's speed at the Raiders' speed at wide receiver?
They haven't gone up top. Until you prove to me that I have to respect what you have, I'm going to jump everything you throw. I'll guarantee you Terry McDaniels and the secondary of the Raiders are going to respect Joey Galloway a little bit.
A lot.
Yeah, and now you have to try and make the first down. One of the first 2 downs, I think you have to challenge him a little bit.
3rd and 10. Brown and Ismail to the same side. Throw for Hobbs, can't hold it. Would have been a first down at the 45-yard line. The coverage by Selwyn Jones. Mike White just trying to push a button right now that will work.
He's got to hope that his defense can slow this Seattle offense down just a little bit.
Gossett averaging 39 on 2 kicks. The last one was not a good one. And there's that man again. Galloway waits at the 20. High, twisting spiral. Taken it to 20 by Galloway on the fair catch. 44-yard punt, no return. The Seahawks in control. One of the most beautiful downtowns in all of America. Downtown Seattle, especially at Christmas. It is just spectacular. And it really helps if you like traffic, too, because they got plenty of that.
Hey, Santa took a night off. Why not? He deserves a night off. He's been packing all those gifts, getting those sleighs ready.
The Seahawks have been unstoppable. They take over near their 21. Pushed out of bounds to the 25-yard line. Dan Land forced him out. Boy, who cares? That's right. When you're talking about the Raiders, there is the ultimate dislike for this team in Seattle. Maybe because the Raiders have beaten them 10 out of the last 11.
The Raider guy with a Santa hat on just doesn't look right.
No.
For some reason. All they want, they getting a bunch of Seahawks tonight.
Some of these people are very creative and very good at what they do. 2nd and 4. Warren. One of the few times does not find running room, about 1.5 yards shy of the first down.
John Freeze has done a wonderful job moving the ball around. Now, you talk about getting rid of the ball quick. See, he's completed 3 of 5, but look at over 15 yards. You don't have to hold the ball long to complete long passes. 2 for 2 to the right, obviously, the touchdown to Joey Galloway, and 1 for 1 down the middle. That's the biggest misconception about throwing the ball deep I think a lot of people have. You get rid of it quick. The guys get there and take it further for you.
Especially with the speed of Galloway, you better get rid of it quick. Play clock winding down, and Seattle will take a timeout. The other thing about Freeze that people forget, he was highly regarded by Bobby Beathard coming out of college. And when you have that stamp on you, that's pretty good for just about anybody in the National Football League. Was the starter for a year, then he got hurt, and Beathard finally got Stan Humphries to San Diego, and he never had a chance to get his job back.
Then he went to Washington last year, started 4 games, but of course they made the commitment monetarily to Heath Schuler. Gus Farrat played well, so they had the 2 young kids. And, you know, it's almost been a little bit of an unlucky situation for John Freeze. Now he's here and he's playing in place of Rick Meyer, who probably will be the starter. Just got the big bonus renewed, so they made the monetary commitment to him. And you know, he'll be all right, but he's really like a rookie. He never threw the ball a lot in college. Needed these couple of years to throw the ball. Now he's got to be able to mature and develop.
And for the immediate future, at least, how would you take John Freeze out of the lineup after the remarkable 4th quarter he had last week and the way he's playing right now? If you're winning and headed toward the playoffs, how can you make a change?
I still think you go back to your starter when he's ready.
Broussard checks in on 3rd and 2. Freeze short set, completion, first down. After the 41 to Carlester Crumpler, Greg Biekert, the middle linebacker, had to make the tackle.
When you spread a defense out, Mike, you get a lot of one-on-ones, and really this is like a basketball move. Look at how they've got everybody spread out all the way over here, and that allows the tight end just to go up and work one-on-one. See how he spread out? There's nobody in the middle of the field. But now I want to show you something else, how quick he gets it out. 2 seconds, the ball was gone. You can't, all you do is knock somebody down. You can't sack it.
Even as quick as McLaughlin is, we're going to get there in 2. Fresh set it down. Freeze, play action. Galloway overthrown and covered beautifully that time by Terry McDaniel.
Now they got back in the right coverage. Terry McDaniel told us last night he's peeking a lot more. And what he means by peeking is he's looking at the quarterback. This is a little shake move. That's incidental contact. That's a little nuzzling. That's all. Good no call by the official.
You nuzzle different than I do.
Well, I got bumped around out there a lot. It's like you and I nuzzle up here a little bit.
That's right.
So with Joey, I'd hang the ball a little higher and let him run. Nobody's going to catch him. Even Terry, who can run.
2nd and 10. And Freeze, almost beaten by the play clock again, will have to use a timeout.
We talked about Oakland wanting to mix it up. Well, Dennis Erickson and his offense, they have not thrown 2 consecutive passes all night. That's unbelievable balance. Or excuse me, more than 2. What they've done is they've thrown 2, but not had to throw more. It's a nice way of balancing your offense. So you really, the defense is in there. I don't know what you can do.
You talked to Rick Meyer extensively the other day, and I know as much as he wants to play, he showed a really good attitude because he wasn't whining about the change.
No, has never complained about it. He understands he was hurt. He didn't get a chance to work, and consequently, he understands the business.
He came to Seattle as the 2nd overall pick in the '93 draft. We asked him if he is happy with his own progress.
Not yet, not at all. I mean, there's a lot of things that haven't happened yet, and I was very optimistic going into this season, thinking that you know, we're going to put it together and everything was just going to be a lot easier, just because of having gone through it a few times and a little different system, a few more guys. It wasn't easier. It wasn't a lot easier, and I didn't make it easy on myself.
Most of those Notre Dame guys are very bright people.
And we
Notice I say most.
And we don't make it easy on ourselves. That's consistent.
2nd and 10. Raiders show blitz, and they come with it. Warren runs right through the hole they vacated. Cross midfield, still on his feet to the 45. He is a load.
You know, Mike, if you've got a mobile home on your team, you may as well find one. That's what House Ballard is. Number 75. Here comes the house. He's going to clean for him and just get on the back of the house and follow him right up. There goes the mobile home. He used to be the big house. Now he's the little house on the prairie. Lost about 15 pounds.
Chris Warren, 10 carries, 75 yards here in the first half. And 2 rushing touchdowns. 7:46 and counting. Seattle just dominating their hated rival. Play action by Freeze. Boy, is everything working or not? Carlester Crumpler, first down.
You know what this looks like to me? During a week of practice, you throw what's called 7-on-7. That means it's your wide receivers against the defensive backs and the linebackers, and you do it with no pressure, and you should complete almost all of them. That's what it looks like John Freeze is running tonight, a 7-on-7 drill. All set up by the run. All set up by the run. They've had 22 plays. They have 220 total yards.
Warren on the delay. Not this time, as the blitzing middle linebacker Greg Biekert was right there.
Bob Bretkowski, Seahawks offensive coordinator, wide receiver coach, calling the plays.
Only 3 Seahawks have touched the ball tonight outside of the quarterback. Galloway, 5 catches for 108 yards. Crumpler, 3 catches, 37. Chris Warren, 11 runs for 75. I keep calling those 3 guys' numbers.
You know a guy who hasn't really caught the ball and has been a big part of their offense is Brian Blake.
Rick Ricky Prohl, number 88, in as a wide receiver. Blades, right on cue, makes the catch down to the 28-yard line.
4 wide receivers, forces the Raiders to go back and play pass and play a zone, and then just let the little guys make moves. Blades in the slot up top right. They read the zone. McDaniel runs off. He just breaks out in the soft area. Force Dan Land to come up and make a play.
3rd and 4. To me, this is a huge play for the Raider defense.
You're absolutely right, Michael.
They're already down 24-3. Freeze with plenty of time. Worked it in there for a first down. What composure by John Freeze. He knew it would be there if he could wait long enough, and he did.
And what a great job by Brian Blades, working all the way to the sideline. You'll notice he doesn't get pushed out of bounds. He knows where to stop and come back in. Number 89, he works to the right, swillings on him. Okay, I can't go out of bounds. I've got to come back. Look at that. That's just great field presence.
Another first down for Seattle. Freeze, 10 out of 13, 164 and a touchdown. Freeze dumps it to Blades to the 3. Mike Jones made the tackle. Ladies and gentlemen, this is surgery without the benefit of anesthetic.
Unfortunately, the Raiders are the ones that have to see it, and you can see the pain on Mike White's face. Play action fake, inside receiver. He's just going across the field. Just goes underneath, uses the official, turns up the field. Mike Jones can't catch him.
1st and goal at the 3. Warren. Nowhere to run, still got a yard. Ball and McLaughlin in the center of that Raider defense.
Well, you almost know what the Seahawks are going to do down here. They're going to give the ball to Chris Warren once, and I'd pretty much guarantee they're going to give it to him again, and they're going to challenge the Raiders. I always believe that short yardage is an attitude. You're either going to make it or you're going to stop people from making it. And it doesn't have a lot to do with size or technique or play call. It just has to do with pure attitude.
And the Seahawks must have a great attitude because they're 2nd in the NFL. Raiders are pretty good, 6th in the league at stopping in this situation. Play action. Freeze throws it out of the back of the end zone. Another good decision by John Freeze.
Pass is incomplete.
This is a quarterback clinic. What he's doing is he's presenting a clinic for anybody who's interested.
And it's an offensive line clinic and a running back clinic and a defensive clinic.
Big 3rd down here. You talked about it the last one, Mike. This is big for the Raiders.
So if they give up a touchdown here, it would be 31-3 in the 2nd quarter.
3rd down and goal for the 2.
Jerry Ball trying to dig in and stop it on 3rd and goal. Warren on the toss behind Strong. Beekert lost it. Knocked out of bounds at the 1. That was great hustle by the Raiders.
All right, Dennis Erickson, what do you want to do? I say you go for it. Man, you're a rookie coach. Your team is riding high. You got a chance to absolutely bury the Raiders. You got to go for it. I mean, there's no choice. None whatsoever in my mind.
14th play of the drive coming up. The fans on their feet.
And the other thing is you've got them backed up on the half-yard line. If you don't make it, they got a long way to go, and your defense is playing well.
Play clock is running down, and they're not going to be able to get the play off in time. The Seahawks will have to spend another timeout. They don't have any left.
That cost them
Two first-year coaches battling for a playoff spot, and right now Dennis Erickson on the left has a big edge up on Mike White, and Erickson has thought better of it, decided to go for a field goal. I say better, that's not making a judgment, but he's at least changed his mind. The field goal would put him up 27-3, and I like the call.
Well, you know, it's hard to disagree with it. I mean, you're putting points on the board. I just think that there is a case to be made going the other way.
Oh, it's not like you're on your own 29-yard line. Right?
No, you're right, with a duck hat on.
Peterson knocks the field goal through, and the Seahawks have extended their lead to 27-3. What this would do to the wild card picture in the AFC, there would be a log jam at 8-7. If this score would hold, the Raiders would be 8-7, along with San Diego, Indianapolis, Miami. Seattle would move up to 8-7, and you'd have 5 teams battling for 3 spots.
And we know for sure that if San Diego wins next week, they're automatically in. I'm pretty sure, not gone through us, but Indianapolis wins next week, they'd be in without any help, right?
I believe so, but
everybody else needs help.
All right, let's check in with Mark Malone. Mark, what do you have?
Well, thanks, Mike. Chester McLaughlin in our spotlight. People have called him the next Reggie White of defensive tackles, and when you choose to single block him, you can't stop him. Look at this. Knocks Blackshear back 2 yards in the backfield, plays off, and then comes down the line, gets in on the tackle. He's an amazing blend of 320 pounds of power and speed. Then down on the goal line again, single block, sticks the tackle, makes the play. I'll tell you, this guy is something else. Chester McLaughlin in our spotlight. Mike?
And Mark, Rob Fredrickson tells the story of patting him on the rear end when he thought he was in a bad position. He turned around and stared at him during the play and said, "Don't touch me." And he hasn't since. So he's got an attitude, too. And the Raiders will come back and start at the 20-yard line with 2:51 to go.
Mike, we just saw that kickoff. Remember last week in the Denver Bronco game, Glenn Milburn, the special teams of the Seattle Seahawks gave up 220 yards in special team yards last week. They have certainly turned that around tonight with some great returns and great kickoff coverage. And there is a football team that is baffled, the Oakland Raiders.
Besides being baffled, they're in a lot of trouble. Down 24-point second quarter.
Every one of them on the bench almost, and their offense on the field.
The pocket collapses around him, dumps to Williams. Harvey Williams out near the 27-yard line.
Tackled by Terry.
Well, you can bet after the Seahawks experience last week with that huge comeback against Denver, they are not going to let up. They know it can happen.
Oh yeah, they realize they were on the good end of it. They don't want to be on the bad end.
Dennis Erickson said it was a win that could really bring this program together, solidify everything as he tries to rebuild the franchise. Kaufman nearly is beheaded and then dives for a first down. Antonio Edwards, number 94, had a shot at him in the backfield and missed. And we have reached the 2-minute warning in Seattle where the Seahawks on cruise control, 27-3. 27-3, Seahawks over the Raiders. And coming up at halftime, highlights of all the games in the league, the fastest 3 minutes in television with Boomer. Miami and Buffalo, what a battle they staged on the Bills' home turf today. And the NFL playoff picture. I always like listening to this 5-minute explanation of the different permutations.
In less than 3 minutes.
Yeah. Raiders first and 10, just outside their own 30. Can't hold it. Pass was right there.
See, this is Hostetler's working this thing the right way. The way you work in a 2-minute drill is I think you work underneath. Make the linebackers come up and collapse on the underneath receivers. Would it be backs and tight ends? And then try and get the bigger yardage to the wide receivers after you get the people coming up. So work underneath the start and then long. Short and long.
Haas has hit only one of his last 7. Is 5 out of 13 overall. Play to Kaufman. Boy, does he accelerate. Out to the 38-yard line where Terry Wooden makes the stop.
Oakland Raiders still have 2 timeouts left, so they really don't have to rush. This is a modified hurry up.
Tim Brown has not caught a pass in the first half of this game. Glover with another catch near midfield.
Same
Clock
thing.
running, 1:28 left.
Yeah, you wait till you get down to about into the 40s to use your timeouts. Haas doing a nice job. Everybody up on the ball. Not wasting any time.
4-man rush. Hostetler shovel past the Kaufman. Turned a sack into a 3-yard gain, and now he used a timeout.
Yeah, see, that one might have been one where he wanted to get rid of the ball. Just throw it out of bounds. Save the timeout. You get a minimal gain, and he could have just let it go. You got to remember, he's been off for a month. I mean, you don't all of a sudden jump back in and have everything working the way you want. He hit the 5 steps, stepped up in. There's the 5-step drop, steps up in. If it's not there, get rid of it. Throw it at one of the markers. Instead, he like Haas is, he's just going to try and make a play. That's in his nature.
And it wasn't like he was just nicked up either. The left shoulder, which was injured, they said he couldn't bench press 10 pounds on the left side of his body. The first time these teams played in Oakland, these guys had huge games. Look at Hostetler, 333. Harvey Williams ran for 160, and Tim Brown caught 5 passes for 143. None of that is happening tonight.
And remember the thing about that. That was the 5th game of the season. The Seahawks really didn't start to gel defensively till after the 8th game. So the Hawks were still trying to learn about one another.
Harvey Williams comes back in on 2nd and 7. Away. Terry Wooden. This guy is a player. 6th year out of Syracuse, the 2nd-round draft choice in 1990. He is not flashy. He doesn't get the attention because he doesn't get sacks.
The only reason he doesn't make it to the Pro Bowl is because Seattle doesn't have a record that would indicate that a lot of guys should go. He's a Pro Bowl type player,
yes, he is.
And we'll get there at some point. The Hawks just have to win more ball games.
He and Winston Moss, a couple of great outside linebackers on the squad now. 3rd and 7. Williams in the flat. 5 yards short of a first down. Selwyn Jones with the tackle.
No question. What they'll do is let the clock run down a little bit and punt it away. You don't even think about going for it here.
The Seahawks have no timeout, so they can't stop it.
Oakland has 1 left.
It's about a 14-second difference between the play clock and the game clock. So they will have to kick it away. And Gossett might try to kick it away from Joey Galloway this time.
I don't know who to kick it away. I couldn't. I have it 1 yard.
No, you can kick it to the 44. High floater. Galloway comes up, signals fair catch, and makes it at the 19. Ted Marchibroda has done a nice job with that ball club. And he will need to win a game.
Like I said, what a heartbreaker it was for him today.
Seahawks take over their own 19 with a tight formation. Very satisfied going to the locker room with the big lead. That's the end of the first half with a score. The Seahawks 27, the Raiders 3. Now let's join Chris Berman for the Acura halftime report.
Over. The Oakland Raiders 27-3. Can the Raiders change their fortunes, or the Seahawks continue to make mincemeat of them? Back up to the Kingdom, to the gang in a moment.
This halftime report is presented by Acura, who invites you to test drive the exciting new TL Series.
Chris Warren with one of his 2 first-half rushing touchdowns as the Seahawks are on top 27-3. Back with the second-half kickoff in just 30 seconds. Ready to start the second half. The Seahawks in complete command, 27-3 over the Raiders. Let's take a look at the first half stats. Interesting that both teams had 31 plays in the first half. It certainly didn't seem that way.
Yeah, and every time the Seahawks got inside the 20, they scored. But look at the passing yards, 178.
And the average start, the Seahawks at their own 39, thanks to a couple of big kickoff returns, some great coverage. Peterson to kick to Ismail and Kaufman. The rocket from near the 10. And pounded down at the 24. Let's go to Mark Malone. Mark?
Yeah, thanks, Mike. We thought we'd give the final numbers on Chester McLaughlin here. They ran at him 6 times for 39 yards. Of course, one of those, a 15-yard touchdown run. 4 stops for less than 3 yards. Double-teamed 8 of 23 times. 2 quarterback hits. When they double-team him, linebackers have to make the play. We switch now to the Seattle defensive back, Corey Harris. Acquisition out of Green Bay this year, originally as a nickel back. Because of injuries, he's had to start, and he's done a great job so far tonight keeping Tim Harris out of the ball game. He lines up, Tim Brown, out of the ball game. He's lined up over him in the slot most of the night. He's continued to do a good job, and the pressure will be on him here in the second half. Mike?
Mark, he only started 2 games in 3 years when he was with the Green Bay Packers. That's Rob Thomas, the wideout, who was hurt on kick coverage. A forearm and an elbow right in the chops.
Gets his head bent back. Of course, you hate to see that. You hate to see anybody get hurt. Looks like there's movement in the shoulders and stuff.
Thomas has been in there a lot tonight as a 3rd wide receiver and a good sight here, able to sit up.
Yeah, he's up. Looks like he's moving everything. Man, that's scary.
It can be an extremely violent game at these weights and these speeds.
Oh, really? Dave Arnold, special. Thank you, Mike, for sharing that with me. I didn't know that.
You have a short memory then.
You know something, Mike? I'll tell you something. You could get hurt at this game, too.
Yes, you could.
Found that out the hard way.
Fortunately, and not to make light of this, he may only have had his bell rung, which is not the most pleasant experience in the world. It's nice to see him smile.
Yeah, but, you know, he's not sure he's here.
No.
That's the thing.
Got that little teetering walk.
I'm fine. Just tell me who I am. You know, the thing is, too, is when 2 people have you, that's an indication you're not real steady on your feet. Like, if only one's holding you, you're okay.
The Raiders take over near their own 25, and every possession becomes critical. Comes to reverse to Hobbs, and Hobbs is going to throw. Wide open, Ismail, he dropped it! Holy cow! Beautifully designed play, perfectly executed, and he drops a touchdown pass.
Daryl Hobbs was a quarterback at Santa Monica City College. He used to throw the ball to Isaac Bruce. Here's the pitch to Harvey Williams. Hobbs sets, and he just hangs it up. It's not overthrown. You don't want to miss that. And the Rocket just lets it go.
Perfect throw, would have been a touchdown. Blackman was beaten by 10 yards. Here is Derek Fenner, who had the best year of his career in the league as a Seahawk.
There's another look at it. Unbelievable. Look at him set. I mean, that's good-looking form. The Rocket got it coming down. Just starts to run. He's just starting to run, takes his eye off it just at the last second.
He said this week, your whole being has to be ready to play when you come into the NFL, and at times his hasn't been. The Raiders trying to get a first down out at the 35, and it appears they do with Harvey Williams.
Major disappointment in the Canadian has come down here, and the Raiders are waiting for him to break out. He was a 4th-round selection because he chose to go up to Canada. You know, though, it's the kind of thing, it's early enough in the half. You know, you almost feel like you got to make a play now. You got to bail the team out.
I think that was the one, Joe. Hostetler straight back. Tim Brown. And he's got a first down up at the 46, and the offense looks a little more in sync. And Eugene Robinson and Tim Brown pushing each other a little bit. The first grab of the night.
Well, that's what I was going to say, Mike. The first half, the Seahawks did an excellent job of keeping Tim Brown out of the offense. You see Corey Harris, number 30, just shadow him. He's out and makes the play. Carlton Gray was waiting for him. They're going to have to try and get him the ball more.
Going to his 5th Pro Bowl. Williams on the draw, a lot of room. Harvey Williams to the 40. Harvey Williams, 45 yards tonight, has gone over 1,000 yards. The first Raider since Marcus Allen in 1985.
And you wouldn't know it over the last couple weeks. He got 5 yards 2 weeks ago. What, 26, I think, the other day. Al Davis.
And he's waited a long time for somebody to erase one of Marcus Allen's records.
ESPN Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by True Value. No matter what you need, help is just around the corner. By Cadillac and your Cadillac dealer, creating a higher standard. And by Motel 6, for a clean, comfortable room at the lowest prices of any national chain. Stay at Motel 6.
Seahawks 27-3 over the Raiders. Oakland driving. 1st and 10. The Seahawks 40. Hostetler over the middle. Ball comes loose. Still loose. Still loose. Corey Harris. He's gone. Winston Moss and Terry Wooden knocked it loose, and Corey Harris goes 57 yards. Turn out the lights.
There had to be 4 or 5 Raiders that had a chance at picking this ball up or falling on it or something. Cash is in the middle. Both feet down. It's a good catch. Ball comes out. Now the Raiders. There's one has it. There's 3 of them around it. There's 3 more. Corey Harris just patiently picks it up. You see the hit. Follow the bouncing ball.
What a turnaround. From a trick play that would have been a touchdown to a recovered fumble that goes 57 yards the other way. And the Seahawks are kicking the Raiders around in Seattle. Seahawks 34-3, and Joe, I don't know if that last play was a catch.
If they had that technical advice in the old days called instant replay, I don't think it would have been either, Mike. The throw is right up the middle. This is in real time. Catches it, doesn't really have control. Ball comes out, probably would have been ruled incomplete. It's a moot point at this juncture. You must have 2 feet down and control of the ball. He has neither. But the official was shielded. Goes as a touchdown.
The rocket from the 8. And he is decked at the 20. And this one has all the earmarks of getting ugly in a hurry. These people are not used to the word playoff and December spoken in the same breath.
And this place has not rocked like this, Michael, for a long, long time. Since the Mariners turned it on here at the end of the baseball season.
They became the darlings of the Northwest at the end of the year, and the Seahawks bidding to do the same thing. They have not been in the playoffs since 1988. This win would not assure them a playoff spot, but if they can win tonight and next week, they've got a shot. Harvey Williams struggles for 3, maybe 4. Now, if you're Jeff Hostetler and the offensive coaches for the Raiders, what do you do?
I think what you do is you do exactly what you do. You run the football a little bit. Now you got to spread it out. You pick up 8-10, just like they did on the last drive, Mike. I think you go back to doing what you did on the last drive, minus the trick play. Seattle has got to play a little softer now, play a little bit more cautious. So Jeff should have a little more time.
2nd and 7. Hostetler throws between Glover and Brown.
This is the biggest lead Seattle has had over the Raiders since 1937. Excuse me, 37-0 since 1986. 1937. Sorry.
I knew it went back a long time.
Yeah, well, it was 37-0 back then.
Well, they may challenge that one at the current rate. 3rd and 7. Hobbs comes in as an extra wide receiver. Hostetler set. Michael Sinclair with 4.5 sacks on the year.
That's what Michael Sinclair is a specialist, and Jeff Hostetler is down. And I mean slow getting up. You got your 3rd string right tackle in, Russell Freeman, number 70. And he is down here. And all Michael Sinclair does is just turn hard and go. I mean, Sinclair really doesn't give him much of a bump or a push or anything.
And Hostetler goes down on the left shoulder, the one that kept him out for a month, and he looks like he's hurt again. Gossett to punt. Galloway back to the 29. And goes out of bounds at the 36. 53-yard punt, return of 7. Hostetler appears to be on his way to the locker room. Jeff Hostetler in obvious discomfort on the sideline after taking a wicked hit and being driven into the turf. Mike Sinclair got the sack. Billy Joe Hobart warming up on the sideline, and the Seahawks have the football again. They have been an offensive machine tonight. Play action by Freeze. Swilling applies the pressure. The pass complete to Blades out to the 49. Let's go back and look at the hit on Jeff Hostetler.
Russell Freeman is the right tackle. He gets beat by Sinclair. Now, Jeff's holding the ball, looking downfield, but look at his left shoulder as he goes down. All that weight of Sinclair and Hostetler both get driven into the turf.
And that's the shoulder that just got healthy enough to play again after 3.5 games.
You make a great point there, Mike. Just got healthy enough to play.
Right.
But not well.
No. Seahawks back to the ground game. Warren nowhere to go. Chased out of bounds.
And we saw Jeff Hostetler hold the ball there and take a punishing sack. John Freeze is not going to put himself in the situation. He has gotten rid of the ball using 3 seconds as a normal time. He's gotten rid of it under 3 seconds 15 times. And you'll notice the 4 quarterback hits, they would have been sacks probably if he held it a little bit longer. Just once has he held the ball for more than 3 seconds.
Seahawks with a 2nd and 14 from their own 45. Right now, the only question seems to be how bad might this be. Broussard is in a running back. Quick pass, Crumpler, who's had a good night down near the Raiders' 45-yard line, where Dan Land makes the tackle. 4 catches for Carlester Crumpler.
I talked about 3 seconds being good time for the quarterback to get it out. Nobody gets to you when you get it away under 2. Quick 3-step drop, 1.5 seconds out and gone.
You don't think defensive linemen hate this quick throw
They hate it.
offense?
And that's what's being decisive as a quarterback. I mean, Bob Bartkowski doing a terrific job. Bartkowski, their offensive coordinator.
3rd and 4 for Seattle. Freeze misses Broussard in the flat, covered well by Rob Fredrickson.
This is going to be the first punt tonight by the Seahawks.
Oh, Rick Tootin is nice and fresh as he comes out on 4th and 4. He's 3rd in the NFL this year in punting, averaging 44.5.
In all likelihood, Billy Joe Hobart will take over at the helm for the Raiders.
Tim Brown will go deep at the 10. don't get there. And this one, did it make the end zone or not?
Yes,
it did. And the Raiders will get the ball at the 20 after a 45-yard punt. We'll see who will be at quarterback.
To the Kingdom, Corey Harrison, our spotlight here in the second half, and what a job he's done. Shut down Tim Brown and comes up with the biggest defensive play tonight. Check this out. He takes away Brown on the slant, gets his hands on him, gets inside, and now watch this. The ball is thrown. Now look it. They're standing right next to each other. The ball has hit the ground. Watch Harris and watch Brown. Harris, more aggressive, following the ball, picks it up, and the touchdown return. He's had a great night so far, especially in the second half. Look at these numbers. He's been thrown at one time. That was one completed for 10 yards. And, of course, the 57-yard fumble return for a touchdown. An unlikely hero, but a great play. So far, especially in the second half, look at these numbers. He's been thrown at one time. That was one completed for 10 yards. And, of course, the 57-yard fumble return for a touchdown. An unlikely hero, but a great play. Mike?
All right, Mark, thanks. And Billy Joe Hobart is the new quarterback, and he got a raucous welcome from the fans here. The former Washington player who left under less than ideal circumstances throws his first pass. It's incomplete, nearly picked off by Winston Moss. They have long memories here. Part of the reason they were placed on suspension is the money he took from an agent. Then he left early. So when he was introduced, the Boo Birds came out in droves, 70-some thousand. The ode to Billy Joe. Well, they might be ready to jump off the Tallahatchie Bridge tonight. Down 34-3. Draw play to Fenner. Got it out near the 25-yard line.
Now, you know, I said before with Haas that the defense was going to probably back off a little bit. I throw everything but the kitchen sink at Billy Joe tonight. He's a rookie, threw 4 interceptions the last game he played last week. Didn't really play that well, and it's 3rd and 5. Don't give him a chance. Greg McMackin, the defensive coordinator.
Four-man rush, and they've got him. Michael McCrary out of Wake Forest gets his first sack of the season.
Well, Russell Freeman didn't do such a good job at right tackle. Let's put Robert Jenkins out there, number 64, and see how he does. There's number 64. McCrary, number 99. Jenkins did a poorer job than Russell Freeman did.
And it's all gone wrong for the Raiders tonight. This is a team that was 8-2. It looks like after tonight they'll be 8-7. Galloway. Oh, what a move. Is he something else? There's the flag down on the play. An 18-yard return after a 48-yard punt. Terry Cash made the tackle. Smiles all around.
You know what I love about him? He doesn't make a play and rip his helmet off and try and be a hot dog because he only gained 18. He's got class. I watch some games today, and I see guys gain 10 yards and rip their helmet off. I mean, they're not professionals. They're not even good enough to be professionals yet.
How about guys that whose teams are down by 2 touchdowns? They make a tackle and get up and
they strut around.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness on number 36. Seattle receiving team blocking a kicking team man while he was out of bounds. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Blocking a kicking team man when he was out of bounds.
Lamar Smith with the penalty. It's 34-3 Seahawks.
True Value presents the NFL Man of the Year Award.
In 11 years as a Seahawk, Eugene Robinson has embraced the label of role model in the Seattle community. Robinson spends countless hours meeting and influencing the area's children and maintains a high level of commitment to local charities. Each team nominates its own candidate, and you can see the winner Sunday, January 21st at 7:30 on ESPN. And who will win the NFL Man of the Year award? It is my pleasure to be broadcasting this game with a man who did win that, and I know that stands out in your career as one of the highlights.
It really does, and it's more important that we're able to help the community. That's what's great about it.
1st and 10 Seahawks. Incomplete. Intended for Ricky Prohl, who only has 4 catches this year. John Freeze took one of the few hits he's had all night long.
Yeah, and there's the guy that delivered it, Chester McLaughlin. And he's not giving up. Their fight's still in this dog. 7.5 minutes ago.
And that's a big dog.
I'd hate to have to feed that dog. Woo. Stutter steps in the hole, gets up to about the 38-yard line. You know, Howie Long has had a great influence on Chester McLaughlin. He took him under his wing, taught him a lot about how to act, how to play, and you can't understate the value of somebody, a veteran who is now out of the game, who stays close to the team and tries to develop relationships with people and help them.
3rd down, 8 yards to go. Ball's on the 38.
Boy, Jeff Hostetler, that's known as not in the zone.
Well, he is back in Oakland somewhere.
Comes the blitz, Freeze throws, knocked away from Prohl. Good play by Albert Lewis. The Raiders will go home to play next week against Denver. The numbers on Hostetler, and the Denver Broncos fading fast in the playoff picture. But nobody is fading quite as fast as the Oakland Raiders after that 8-2 start.
I mean, the first half was an absolute clinic. And, you know, they've been the faders. And the problem is, Mike, it just isn't this year. They did the same thing a year ago.
Tim Brown deep to receive. Nice kick by Tootin. Brown all the way back to his 13. Very dangerous kick return, man. There's a flag down as he gets out to the 27. 14-yard return. Wells and Junkin in on the tackle.
Illegal block, number 50 on the return. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
6:50 to go, 3rd quarter, and this must seem like a 2-day game to the Raiders. They're down 34-3.
Every time they turn around, something bad has happened. Now you just have to settle down and try and make 1st down. You want to get in some kind of a rhythm. And again, remember we talked about Oakland had to protect their quarterback because Billy Joe Hobart may have to go for him next week again.
Kaufman. Boy, he provides a real burst, and with he and Harvey Williams together, they've produced over 1,500 yards rushing out of that tailback spot this year.
He attacks people. He gets the ball and he just attacks. The Raiders have to let Billy Joe take his lumps. I mean, I don't think they can try and protect him. Jim Fossil, their coordinator, told me that's what they did in the last game. They can't afford to do it now.
And the Raiders' offense has been absolutely inept. Mostly because Hostetler hasn't been there. Kaufman again plunges out over the 15 to about the 17-yard line. Wooden and Turk doing a little pushing and shoving.
You know, I don't understand. This is what I don't understand. Jeff Hostetler is doing absolutely no good standing on the sidelines. He can't offer any information because I think he's just in so much pain. You know, it's like he doesn't see. You could run your hand in front of his face and it would be blank.
I think he just wants to be there. He wants to be part of the team. Hobart with the quick release, and great play by the safety Blackman, who came up and nailed Kerry Cash short of the 1st down. These guys are cooking.
You go after a quarterback, you make him throw it hot. He'll throw out to the right, makes the quick throw. He feels the Tez coming. There's the hot release. There's the tackle. And here comes the punter.
Black Beckman and Eugene Robinson. It's tough to find a better safety combination than those guys.
That is probably the best, could be the best tandem in football.
They are sensational. Gossett to punt again, and Galloway waits at his 35. Galloway backpedals to the 33, trying to get to the outside. Great stutter step. Gossett saved the touchdown. Oh, it was one of the worst looking tackles you ever saw, but he saved the touchdown. What an exciting kid this guy is.
Dave Arnold thinks he died and went to heaven when they got him. The special teams coach, watch his patience. He's coming to the wide side of the field, which was his right. Now watch this. Look at, he's just going to slow down. All right, I'm just cruising. Now I'm only doing about what's a 4-4. Now watch, here we go. Let's find another gear. Just get out of his way, guys. Just get out of his way. Gossett does a good job. Not a picture perfect one, like you said, but Joey's on the ground.
Needs to be a little knee bend in there somewhere. Chris Warren on the toss. Nowhere to go. He cuts it back. Chris Warren! Touchdown!
How often do you see a coach smiling with 4 minutes to go in the third quarter of a game? And there's a look of disbelief by Jerry Ball.
You do not make up being raked over the coals by a team 10 out of 11 years with one night, but this is close.
The patience that he had going back and then turns on the speed. I mean, between he and Galloway, once they see a small opening, they're gone.
16 carries, 107 yards, 3 touchdowns for Chris Warren.
Man, if this was a fight, Mike, they'd have stopped this thing in the third round.
Todd Peterson, who's getting leg weary, on to the point after. And the Seattle Seahawks fans are loving it. It is 41-3. And it's a little sad to watch this happen to a guy like Mike White, who's one of the good people in this business. Came in here with so many expectations, trying to reverse the trend. With Hostetler coming back as his quarterback, they were very optimistic.
Yeah, but you know something, Mike? You line up with people on the other side of the ball. Give a lot of credit to the Seahawks. They came out ready to play.
Ready may not be the word for it. That is 8 100-yard games. He did it the year before to tie Kurt Warner. Now he owns the record all by himself.
Watch his patience. Raiders showing a lot of hustle, a lot of pursuit, but there's nobody on the backside. And once he makes the turn and takes off, I mean, Mike Jones, number 52, had the last legitimate shot at him, and that was it.
41-3. So Seahawks will go to 8-7. So will the Raiders, and there is a log jam at that spot. You don't think it's premature to call this game over, do you?
I think it's okay. Dennis Erickson's got a tough decision now.
Yes, he does.
Do you leave your people on the field? Who's going to start at quarterback for you next week? I mean, they're all things that'll have to be dealt with this week. Rather have those decisions than the one that Mike White's going to have to make.
Well, Mike White may not have a decision to make if Hostetler is physically unable to play. Rick Meyer, of course, would love to be part of this. The rocket from the 9. They bottled him up all night long. And do again as he dives out to the 25. Warren certainly fits in with any great backs in the National Football League. He has just had a splendid career. Most of it played in anonymity because the Seahawks have not been good enough to get on national television.
That's right.
Colbert, the quarterback, continuing to be booed by the Seattle faithful. Pressure again. Got it out to the Rocket, and the Rocket is creamed by Corey Harris.
Now what the Seattle defense will do is they'll let them catch everything underneath up to about 8 to 10 yards and then just close. They just want this clock to keep on running. Terrific game plan by Greg McMacken, the defensive coordinator.
what a change from the first time these teams played. 531 yards for the Raiders in the first game, which they won, to 168 tonight. Well, this reminds you of the line that Buddy Ryan had earlier in the year when he said, I predicted a butt kicking, but we provided the butt.
Greg McMackin, the defensive coordinator, people forget 1994 at Miami, their defense was #1 in the nation in total defense, #1 in the nation in pass defense, and #1 in scoring defense. I mean, this guy knows how to stop people.
Well, he has shut down the big-time offense of the Raiders tonight with 3 points. Williams. Cortez Kennedy chasing the play from behind. And got some help as Michael Sinclair plugged it up on the other side.
It's unbelievable how quick Cortez is. Watch Tez get across the ball. Now he's playing a one-gap defense. He just fires. There he is. Scoop, gone. I mean, that's a big man moving.
They have tinkered with him at defensive end with that thought, and he says, athletes play end. I'm no athlete.
Boy, he is the perfect defensive tackle, and he plays only right defensive tackle, so he can work on the same people.
2nd and 9. Williams, power sweep, room to run, and forced out of bounds near midfield. Cortez Kennedy, because the Seahawks did not stop the run all that well this year, has been on the field an awful lot. In way of comparison, Chester McLaughlin just shy of 700 plays, Kennedy a full 25% more, 901 defensive plays, and I thought Mark Malone explained it best. He said it's like putting your car in an intersection and letting people run into you 900 times. You need some body work when it's over.
And it's 50 tonight yet.
And absolutely, he'll hit 1,000 next week. Williams hit at midfield. He did not get the first down.
I think if you're Mike White, you have to go for this now. It can't get any uglier. You work on your short yardage offense. You have to go for it. I mean, you can't punt this one away.
No, it certainly can't get any worse. You're being clobbered by 38. Your starting quarterback's been hurt again. And here you get Robert Jenkins, who was the starter at right tackle, hurt. He was in for Skrepenak, who was out with the flu and had not been playing particularly well. He was alternating with Jenkins. They just got Gerald Perry back. And boy, when it starts to go bad, it usually all goes bad, just like this.
Well, we saw a year ago how important offensive linemen are to the production of an offense when we saw the San Francisco 49ers get a lot of their people hurt. They got blown out by the Eagles last year, just totally destroyed and struggled, and got Steve Young beat to a pulp because of it. And I mean, you know, you can talk about the great receivers and the running backs and the quarterback, but unless you've got the guys up front healthy, nothing else matters.
Well, the skilled people have no chance if they don't get the help from that front five.
I know that too, Mike.
Yes, you do. But you played behind some pretty good lines, too. Al Davis, you just can't imagine what's going through his mind. He thought he had retooled everything. He got the coach in here he wanted, Mike White, put the new offense in, got off to an 8-2 start, and this has got to be the low point of that 5-game losing streak.
And I still think they do have the right people. Now he's got to get some depth.
They go for it on 4th and a half yard. Williams dives, didn't get there. It was Kaufman. Terry Wooden with the big hit. And the way the Seahawks have played tonight, I'd have been amazed if they made it.
Yeah, but I don't disagree with the call. You had to go for it. I mean, Mike White just can't believe what he's seen.
There's a penalty marker down after the play. And the ball goes over on downs to the Seahawks.
If the defensive line gets under the offensive line, you can make everything happen behind the line of scrimmage.
Unsportsmanlike conduct foul on number 34, Oakland. 15-yard penalty, first down.
That's Derek Fenner, the former Seahawk.
I want you to watch Cortez Kennedy, number 96. He's going to get under Turk, and because of that, Turk will get up in the air, and it'll allow the jumpers to come in and make the play. See how he stands them up? And stalemates him, and there's Tez right there. I mean, that's what it's leverage. For the guys inside, they're 290, 300 pounds. It's leverage.
You know, Cortez Kennedy has been criticized here because his numbers came down after that sensational rookie year. But people, and you can understand it, fans don't really have all the time a very knowledgeable understanding the way the defense works. He was playing a two-gap system which didn't allow him to freelance and get numbers.
Very much like Dan Saliamu in Kansas City.
After the penalty, the ball down at the 40. Freeze, play action. Warren with a catch. Boy, ripping at the ball, Greg Beaker.
You know, I'm sure some people are wondering, geez, the score's 41-3, and you're out running play action and throwing the ball. One of the most important tiebreakers that you have is points scored when you go up against division rivals. So if the Seahawks can score 100 tonight, folks, they're going to do it. Because it is a part of the tie-breaking system.
And the Seahawks really helped themselves tonight because their division record will go to 3-4. The Raiders may have killed themselves because their division record will go to 2-5, which means outside of head-to-head, they aren't going to win any tiebreakers. Pat Swillingan on the tackle. Chris Warren with the run. Mike Sinclair and the rest of the defense have just swarmed the Raider offense.
It was funny. I rode to practice on Friday with Mike Sinclair and Cortez Kennedy, and Mike Sinclair said he did not want Cortez Kennedy to play the tackle next to him because they always slide the line that way.
End of the third quarter. It's a blowout in Seattle. Seahawks are running away with it. It was 27-3 at the half, still a ball game, but then two huge plays early in the third quarter wrapped this one up. The first was the flea flicker. Hobbs with a perfect throw, and the Rocket had a touchdown and dropped the ball. So instead of the touchdown, they come back, get a questionable completed pass. The ball comes loose, and guess what? The Seahawks go the other way with it for the touchdown. That is the key play of the game, and right now it is 41-3. Steve Broussard is the running back on 3rd and 10. 3 short set throws complete, got the Blades. Blades inside the 25 to the 23, first down.
Well, the Raiders are giving them a little bit of room. Brian Blades just breaks inside, makes the reception, and first down.
Blades with a huge contingent of family here, and I'm sure he appreciates that support because he is under indictment for manslaughter in the death of a cousin. The trial probably won't happen until sometime in the spring. He and his family insist it was a tragic mistake, but he has been indicted nonetheless. Broussard down near the 20.
One other thing on that, Michael, in talking to Brian over the last couple of days, a lot of times when things are troublesome in your life away from the game, the only place you can go for salvation and sanctuary is in between those white lines. And that's really what he's tried to do, is just really focus on the game, continue to work at it. He gets himself beat up in so many games. He only practices sometimes once a week like he did this past week on Wednesday. But he realizes he has a situation to deal with, but he's playing his heart out right now.
2nd and 8. Clock running. 13:42 left in the game. Freeze in the flat, and Blades drops this one. John Freeze has been exceptional. Jay Buhner of baseball fame, and I tell you what, they captivated not only the Seattle area but America with their heroics at the end of last season and saved baseball in Seattle. They're getting a new stadium.
That's right. I think they saved the whole situation. A lot of credit to the fans too. I mean, I believe that places like Tampa and other places that are struggling, other than Cleveland have had the fans come out and they still couldn't get anything done.
3rd and 8 for Freeze. Plenty of time, just throws this one into a crowd. They tried to center screen and had Broussard in there. That was an ill-advised throw by Freeze.
The last couple plays have been the sloppiest of the evening for their offense.
You've have to keep your concentration.
Well, you know, yeah, it is, but you have to. This is when you get hurt. That's the scary thing, is when a game is like this, if you're not going real hard, you could get hurt.
There's a marker down, and the officials
I
talking
think
it over.
they're trying to decide whether or not it hit an offensive lineman in the back. If that was the case, it would have been
Touching of a forward pass on that play. No foul. Incompleted pass.
We're over here, Jer. We're over here on this side. Talk to us on this side, Jer. That's the other side. We don't have a camera over there. We want you to talk to our side here.
You know, that penalty has always mystified me because all it is loss of down. It makes no difference anyway.
Right.
Well, the fans here on 4th and 8 who hate the Raiders, I'm sure they'd like to see him go for it and throw it into the end zone.
Now they're going for the points instead.
Peterson has hit 2 for 2 tonight. He has made 13 of his last 14. This one will be from 38. Knocks it through, and it gets worse for the Raiders. The Seahawks, 44-3.
ESPN Sunday Night NFL is brought to you by Visa. It's everywhere you want to be. By Railback Renewal, reusable alkaline power. Play it smart. And by Honda, who offers an impressive family of cars, sport utility vehicles, and minivans.
44-3. Seahawks with 13:25 to go. Who would have thunk it?
I mean, total domination. They have totally dominated the Raiders.
There's the Rockets, who has been beautifully contained by the Seahawk cover team. And remains that way. Ball came loose.
Now they're calling him down. The ground cannot cause a fumble, and that's what caused it.
Boy, a hit like that can, though.
I tell you, he's had a tough time holding on to the ball tonight.
Here's the updated wild card picture in the AFC. If the Seahawks can hold on to a 41-point lead, and we're rather confident at this point that they can, you have a log jam with San Diego, Indianapolis, Miami, Seattle, and Oakland all at 8 and 7. It's not bad for Oakland. The bad news is they were 8 and 2.
That's right. That's where the problem is. And the Seahawks really turned it around from what, 2 and 5?
Oh, they were absolutely left for dead. They were 2 and 6. Hobart throws high. Brown can't hold it. It was behind him.
This is the toughest time to get back and throw for Billy Joe right now. You know the Seahawks, I mean, their 4 linemen are just going to put their ears back and come after you. And the linebackers are going to sit and wait for you. He's going back as quick as he can. Little quick fake. And both ends come around the corner, and he gets sandwiched.
Boy, Antonio Edwards really got a good shot at him. 2nd and 10. Harvey Williams is back in. And he'll get the carry. Tries to cut back. Sinclair is right there. Sinclair has had a good ball game. It is still a tough road for the Seattle Seahawks. Their closing game of the regular season will be in Kansas City, and on the road in this decade against the AFC West, they are only 4-19. But they've never beaten the Raiders at home 44-3 either.
And they beat Denver in Denver last week.
These are good signs if you're a Seahawks fan.
These are no longer the Seabags, ladies and gentlemen. These are the Seahawks.
Throwing from the sideline, incomplete. And they'll have to kick it away again. Carlton Gray getting a hand as he comes off. He and Corey Harris and Selwyn Jones, who comes in as the nickelback, have been brilliant.
You know, it still bothers me and baffles me a little bit. With all the speed that the Raiders have, the longest pass thrown down the field tonight was a wide receiver to another wide receiver. I mean, they just don't challenge defenses. I think you got to throw deep at least 4 times and make them think about it.
The show's not over. Galloway is back for the punt. this time. Galloway decked as he reached the 30, a 3-yard return after a 46-yard punt. Joe Nash has seen it all in Seattle. He is loving it now. Seahawks have turned this one into a lapper, 44-3 with 12:14 to go in the game. Dennis Erickson was the prodigal son returning to Seattle. And when he was charged with drunk driving this past spring, he did something unusual. He admitted he was wrong and committed himself to a 2-year rehab program, which includes ongoing AA meetings. By taking personal responsibility for that mistake instead of copying a plea and paying a fine and forgetting about it, I think Erickson gained the respect of his players and of his community. In as a running back. Gets a couple. Joe, you know how busy coaches' schedules are. These guys work constantly. And Dennis Erickson, by going through this program, he has no time left. He coaches, he goes to meetings.
That's right. I mean, he made a commitment. He has a commitment to this franchise and a commitment to the people around him that he loves and also himself. And I think he deserves a lot of credit for standing up and taking the responsibility he has. And he's done a terrific job having this football team continue to grow and believe in his program.
Taking responsibility for your own mistakes. What a concept. 2nd and 7. Keep it on the ground with Smith out of Houston, a 3rd-round draft choice in '94. Nolan Harrison was in on the tackle.
Now what you're going to see John Freeze do is bleed the 40-second clock down almost every play. I mean, you can take, if you don't get a first down, you can take almost 2 minutes off the clock just doing what they're doing.
Well, Black Sunday, I don't think that's what that sign was intended to mean, but it certainly turned out that way.
It doesn't have to be a blue Sunday.
With no silver in that at all. Play action by Freeze. Throws complete, but short of the first down to Blades, and he's wrapped up. Joe Nash is one of only 3 players left from the last Seahawks playoff team in 1988. Eugene Robinson, the starting free safety, the brilliant player, and Brian Blades, who was a rookie that year out of Miami. And that's really not a long time, and you only have 3 guys left. That shows you the turnover. When you change coaches, change philosophies, you change players all the time, you can't build that.
Yeah, guys don't have a chance to really prove themselves to the individual.
Rick Tootin kicks it over the head of Tim Brown.
That's it. If you haven't been watching this game at all, and you saw that punt, you know how the night went.
59 yards, and he put it out at the 1. So there. The most recognizable vista in Seattle, the Space Needle, went up and down about 20 years ago. What a beautiful place it is. The Raiders have to start from the end zone, and Hobart throwing deep. Brown double coverage. Nice job by Eugene Robinson to get over there and help out. And it would be hard to look at the film of this game and find anything that the Seahawks have not done perfectly.
But coaches will, as will Mike White. They'll sit down and look at the things that happen. I mean, blown opportunities. You come out, like I said, the beginning of the first half. Raiders have a chance to make a play, get back in the game. Big emotional lift, bang, out of Rocket's hand.
Would have been 27-10 if he makes the catch. Hobart dumps it off to Cash.
Mike, I just think I think this is the first time I have ever seen a quarterback complete a ball downfield in the end zone to somebody who's still in the end zone.
Yes, you're right. Go back to the hit on Jeff Hostetler. If you are a Raider fan, here is the update on his condition. He has re-aggravated the shoulder injury that he suffered a month ago. He has gone to the locker room. That's as much of a report as we have now. We can't tell you the severity of the injury or whether he'll be able to play next week or not. Harvey Williams makes the catch and is crushed as he got across the 10. Terry Wooden and Winston Moss double-teamed him and just ripped him.
Winston Moss and Terry Wooden on the tackle.
Terry Wooden is a complete linebacker. Has 1 interception this year. I mean, you know, there he is. Look at him go back in coverage. He's just going to read and react. That's what you can do when you've got a 44-3 lead. You know, in talking to him, Mike, too, he said, in the past, we've always playing at this point of the season for next year.
Right.
Always looking to the future. Always expecting Christmas to be home. Such a wonderful, different feeling for this Seahawks team.
1st and 10. Kaufman gets outside. Cuts it back to the 28, and between Robert Blackman and Eugene Robinson, Wooden, and Moss, people have been getting leveled if they're wearing silver and black. Yeah, watch Blackman come up on this play from his safety spot.
He'll come up right from the left part of your screen. That thwack you heard was Robert Blackman.
2nd and 5, approaching the 8-minute mark. Kaufman again out to the 20.
You know, Mike, I get the biggest kick out of Chris Mortensen doing it from the show from his penthouse in Atlanta with all those lights in the back. I think it's terrific.
Hobart under pressure. Brown with a juggling catch. Tim Brown off to the races. Touchdown Raiders. 80 yards. Billy Joe Hobart's 3rd touchdown pass of the season.
Terrific job by Tim Brown in the middle. He's working on Corey Harris, number 30. He slides along in motion. Does a little outside shake, freezes him for a second, and just gets around him. Good protection by the line. Not a very good throw, but an excellent reception. And now, who said that Tim Brown can't run? They say he's the slowest of the receivers. And I don't know if that's the case.
Well, I think he is. The rest of them run 4.2s. He's only around 4.3. The Raiders, with 7:22 left in the game, get their first touchdown. The game hardly in jeopardy, though. 44-10 Seattle. 4-10 Seahawks over the Raiders. With Jeff Hostetler at the helm, the Raiders ship was pretty sure and steady. In his 10 starts, Haas led the team to a 7-3 record, making good decisions and protecting the vessel. But with 2nd and 3rd mates Evans and Hobart, not only have the Raiders lacked the firepower, they've even been reckless at sea. In 4 starts, the two combined for 15 turnovers and a 1-3 record. Aye, matey. Arg. Arg.
And there's the senior pirate himself. 40 years old, Vince Evans.
First guy who has a chance to get a game check and a Social Security check in the same weekend. And they will go for the onside kick. The Seahawks put their hands team in. Loose ball. The Raiders say they have it. Now the officials will have to unpile. And it's Raiders football. Jason Kyle, the rookie, had it right in his hands, and it went right through.
Hit him right in the chest.
And it wasn't a tough bounce to handle either.
No, it bounced right into his chest. It's a good job. Kevin Spencer gets the result he wants from his ball club. He's going to bounce. He's got to play on it. Hits him right in the chest, goes right between the 5 and the 7, squirts out. And that's it.
Just like so many receivers we've seen this year, every time guys jump up in the air when they don't have to, they seem to drop the ball.
Instead of using his hands to catch it, he lets it come in. Of course, you got to remember it. I mean,
Hobart throws. Wooden got a hand on it. And Brown couldn't make the catch. But Terry Wooden is terrific in coverage.
He's all over. I mean, he's great at pursuit, great at the point of attack.
He runs the patterns as well as the receivers do.
A lot of pressure on that Oakland offensive line coached by Joe Bugle. My offensive line coach at the Skins. Got a lot of beef to work with.
And certainly one of the best offensive line coaches he's ever been in.
I'll tell you, was a heck of a head coach, too.
At Phoenix, he certainly was. Draw play to Fenner. Chased down from behind by Joe Nash, and he got some help. 7 minutes left in a rout for the Seattle Seahawks that will keep them in the playoff chase. And there's Buggs.
He is Raider assistant, first-time assistant this year, assistant head coach. Boy, I tell you, he started to do a great job in Phoenix and really wasn't given a chance to see the fruits of labor. He'll be a head coach again in this league soon, I guarantee you. Certainly has what it takes.
3rd and 3 for the Raiders. Fenner goes into a slot, so does Brown. Straight 4-man rush. Tim Brown in the flat. First down and more. Gets out of bounds.
Tim Brown is down to the Seahawks 40, a gain of 8 yards. Make that 10 yards. And first down.
In the NFL this year, when a second-team quarterback has had to play because of injury, has had to start, the record was 8-20. Now it's 9-20 because that man did such an exceptional job tonight.
And the number 2s just don't get that much work. Vince Evans doesn't get that much when Haas is ready to go like he did this week, nor would Billy Joe Hobart.
Sinclair nearly got to Hobart. He's down to the 35. You know, John Freese made an interesting point last week. He said he was helped last week because Meyer had the flu on Wednesday and he got to work with the first-team receivers in practice. And the timing is different when you're working with a different group of guys.
Absolutely. When you're the backup, you're usually throwing the scout team or the other team's plays. So your timing isn't down with the starters. And John had a chance to work all this week with Joey Galloway and Blades for a day or so. Some pretty good numbers.
2nd and 4. Hobart to Hobbs, and Hobbs is knocked out of bounds by Jones. Now Dennis Erickson will be faced a really pleasant decision. Who do you put in at quarterback?
I personally think you got to stay with the guy. At this point, if it was the middle of the season, I'd go with Rick Meyer. At this point, you stay with the guy who's done the job for you. I think if you take him away from that offense, John Freese away from the offense, at this point, you hurt the chemistry of the football team. So I would say John Freese would start next week.
And certainly they have found a rhythm with Freese in the 4th quarter last week and all this game. Flag is down. Hobart throws short, incomplete, intended for Kerry Cash.
Well, the Seahawks lined up offside that time. One of the linebackers had their head in the neutral zone, and I mean, there was no question it was going to happen. Thank you, Jerry.
Offside, number 55, defense. Lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. First down.
He had his head stuck in there. I saw that. Didn't you see it?
I did.
I thought so.
Winston Moss said that he was a little surprised at first when the Seahawks made an offer to bring him in as a free agent because, after all, he was a Raider, a hated Raider. But he said they didn't bring me in here because they liked me. They brought me in here because they wanted to win.
Remember, he's the one that decked Rick Meyer last year, gave him some stitches in his chin. And I really think that Winston Moss leaving the Raiders has hurt their chemistry because he was an emotional leader for them.
This is a 40-second timeout.
I'm sure people are wondering too, Mike, they're wondering why are the Raiders using this type of an offense when they should be getting points. The reason I believe they're doing this is to get Billy Joe Hobart ready for next week. There's no sense in throwing him into a 2-minute offense.
If you happen to join us late, you missed some real fireworks. First, let's check in with Mark Malone. Mark?
Thanks, Mike. Corey Harris is in our spotlight here in the second half, and effectively it shut out one of the premier wide receivers in the first half, Tim Brown. But he got after him in the second half. What he did early on, he ran with him on the hip. Tim Brown effectively not making any moves, but then Tim Brown off of the slant route there. Corey does a good job, and then look at this. Finally, the movement. He gets behind Harris. The ball's delivered quickly. He can't get his head around, and I'll tell you what, that has been the difference in the second half. Tim Brown making moves on Corey Harris to create separation and get behind him. Here are the numbers so far, and really these are second half numbers. They threw at him 5 times, completed 4 balls for 110 yards. Of course, 80 of those yards came on the touchdown, 0 passes defensed, and of course, he had the big 57-yard fumble return for a touchdown. So it's been feast or famine for Corey Harris. Mike?
Yeah, but Mark, you know, in his defense, when you have that kind of a lead, probably the intensity isn't there that it was before he picked up that fumble and returned it for a touchdown.
First and 5.
While the game was on the line, he played pretty well.
Even now, Mike, those guys are out there on islands. They don't know what's going on half the time.
Here comes Sinclair again.
He is just no match for Russell Freeman, number 70. It's 70 against 70, and the guy in the blue is winning big time. Number 70, your right tackle. He gets beat right at the line of scrimmage. Doesn't get good movement on his feet. Sinclair sets him up and really gets an easy sack.
He's had a lot of nagging injuries throughout his career. When he was healthy in one stretch in 93, had 8 sacks in 8 games, so they know he can do it. Quick throw to the sideline. The Rocket has it at the 20. And he is working on a guy who is number 3 on the depth chart at right tackle for the LA Raiders. Krepenek out with the flu.
Mike, I think that's the one thing that free agency has done around the league. It has depleted any type of depth, because if you've got a good backup, his contract runs out, and somebody gives him a lot of money to go someplace else to become their starter. So what we're seeing is a lot of erosion of good depth around the league. One of the teams that's been able to keep it is the 49ers. And the Cowboys have suffered because of it.
And when you get down to the third guy at one position, you know it's $187,000, which is the minimum salary in this league. You have somebody filling out a uniform. There's Ken Behring, the owner of the Seattle Seahawks. Has to be one of the happiest nights of his career in professional football, as they are just waxing the Raiders.
Let me make a point. Ken Behring has just gone down to the field. He doesn't spend the time on the field. He sits up in his box and then goes down to see what's going on. Got to feel good about the decision he made.
And that would be in comparison to
Jerry Jones, who I think has put so much pressure on the Dallas Cowboys that it's going to be impossible for them to live up to what he has created. He has created the monster.
Chris Warren, over 100 yards, breaks the club record, his 8th of the year. Joey Galloway showed you the kind of talent that should be evident for the next 10 or 12 years in a Seahawks uniform.
You know, out of college, I thought he was the most complete. Michael Westbrook is going to be a great receiver. J.J. Stokes is starting to prove he is. But the big thing about Joey Galloway, he came into camp and was a part of the Seahawks right from the beginning. That's why he's been an impact player as a rookie, and the other guys have taken a little more time.
And one of the reasons he probably stayed healthy. Sinclair with 2 tackles, and the entire Seahawk defense came up big. 4th and 1. Benner did not make it.
Greg McMackin. This has been a defensive coordinator's dream. Everything you call has worked. And when they do get behind your defense, they drop the ball.
Michael McCrary with his 2nd big tackle. And Winston Moss has to be loving it.
Cortez, again, down low. You see Cortez Kennedy down low. The defense is below the offensive line. That means the offensive line is not going forward. There he is, Big Tez. He is flying Tom Brazier, the defensive line coach, to Hawaii for the 2nd year in a row, in a way of thanking him for Tez going to the Pro Bowl.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Tracy Johnson checks in at a running back and crosses the 20-yard line. Lamar Smith also in there as a back.
I'll tell you how nice he is. His high school coach just retired at a Rivercrest High School in Wilson, Arkansas, and he flew him and his 3 assistants here for this game. I mean, he just, you know, he's flying people all over.
And they're going to let the clock work down to the 2-minute warning. This game hasn't been in jeopardy for a long time. The Seahawks on a roll, 44-10 over the Raiders. Not a smile to be found on that sideline. They're down 44-10. Coming up after our broadcast Sports Center, Keith Olbermann, Brett Haber. They're standing by to bring you up on the NFL playoff picture, which is always fun to listen to. The last hurrah in Cleveland, maybe, maybe not. And our conversation on Sunday night with Jeff Hostetler of the Raiders. Primetime follows Sports Center. That's where the smiles can be found. And they deserve every smile that they can crank out tonight.
I tell you, Mike Sinclair's played a heck of a ball game.
2 minutes to go in a 44-10 rout. Lamar Smith may have another first down out to the 30. Our Visa storyline, the numbers on Hostetler before he went back out with the re-injured left shoulder. Still no report on how serious it might be. Chris Warren with his 8th 100-yard rushing game of the year. John Freeze extremely efficient, 220 yards passing. And Joey Galloway with 183 all-purpose yards. And he brought the crowd to its feet a half dozen times here in the Kingdom.
The Seahawks offensively have averaged almost 7 yards every time they ran a play on offense to that last play.
It's been an amazing demonstration.
Mike White has to go back and try and retool this thing. And I think the only thing he can do is appeal to the professionalism of the Raiders. Every man has got to take a look at what they can do. I mean, the Rocket let one get away tonight. When they had a chance to get back in this thing, as desperate as it seemed, they had a chance. Dennis Erickson, they can't rest on their laurels.
Make no mistake about it, Mike White is a very bright, very accomplished coach.
And I'll tell you something, Dennis Erickson, for a college coach coming to the professional ranks, is really liked by his players. Every man has thought the world of him.
He had a ball tonight as his team just ran over the Oakland Raiders 44-10. And the Seahawks are hot when you want it down the stretch. They've still got a shot.
That's it, Mike. You want to be playing good. You want your team to have confidence when you hit the end of the season.
Our final score, the Seattle Seahawks 44, the Oakland Raiders 10. Coming up next, Sports Center, Keith Olbermann, Brett Haber, the NFL playoff picture. They'll clear that up. The last hurrah in Cleveland, and our Sunday night conversation with Jeff Hostetler. For Joe Theismann, Mark Malone, and our entire ESPN crew, this is Mike Patrick. Thanks for watching, everybody. Good night from Seattle. Sports Center is next, right after this.